Welcome to Paradigm Playbook, the podcast on the business of sports. With 50 plus years of experience, Steve Cook shares insights weekly, featuring top playmakers shaping the industry. Get ready to script your next play. Now, here's your host.
Hello and welcome to Paradigm Playbook. I'm Steve Cook, your host. So what I thought I would do is kind of recap some of the live workshops that we do. We do workshops in the sports business, small business entrepreneurs, and these are business anywhere from $1 million to $5 million in gross revenues. They're often at a stage in their business where they're looking to grow. They're looking for what's the next step that we're going. In one of our podcasts or 2-minute drill, we call it the second stage entrepreneur. And this is one, you go through that startup that sometimes takes a good 5 years to really get over that. And then you get into a rhythm. And sometimes that rhythm is good. And sometimes the rhythm is stagnating you. And so we're looking for ways to grow. So we do a workshop and we work with entire staffs. And what I want to do is just quickly review the 10 things that we talk about in that. Number one thing is you need to work on your business more than you work in your business. The key there is the word more. And that's, that tips at 50%. So we're looking for 50% of your time working on your business. And that can be in customer relations, employee relationships, building the business, creating content. But the things that are commonly missed are time spent thinking. And I just got done reading a great book, kind of a takeoff on the road less traveled. It's called The Road Less Stupid. And I found it fascinating because the author encourages thinking time. And it's like you get an idea, and then before you implement it, before you share, go think about it and really spend time thinking. I've taken to where I'm scheduling thinking time now into my weekly routines. And if you think of some of the ideas that you've taken on in the past that didn't work out so well, and unfortunately, I have quite a few because I'm kind of a ready, fire, aim type person. If I had spent a little bit more time thinking about them, perhaps I would have taken the road less stupid. Second thing is spend time in your community. This is where you develop partnerships and the relationships that we talk about all the time in growing your business. I just recently did a map of my business. The map canvas that I use connects the 9 pieces of your business. But anyway, one of them is partnerships. And I went through there and started outlining all the partnerships I have. And I think I have 18 community partnerships where I have a relation. So if you're going to make those good partnerships, they take time. You have to spend time working on them. So that's going to take up a good amount of your time, but those things pay off. They're the ones that bring in clients. They're the ones that save you in marketing expense. They're the ones that are talking about your business for you when you can't be. Spending time in the community is another one. And then actually spending time with some of your strategic partners, your banker, the local real estate person. And there's a lot of factors in real estate that we take for granted that normally people talk, well, I rent now, growth would be buy my own business. Well, it may be, but it may not be. It may be partnering. It may be setting up a separate company, having a LLC for real estate. There's a lot of ways that you can think about it. But these are all ways that you spend time working on your business. And then the last one, I think, is building your program and your curriculum. Each program has its own curriculum, and that needs to be constantly growing. You need to add new programs. And if you watch what's going on in the world, all the new sports and all the new needs, that there's something that perhaps you can add to your business that will create a new revenue stream. I think we now track 15 revenue streams within our business. And I think they're all important, but at the end of the year, the number 18 is on the chopping block. It's got to defend itself. The second thing, so that's one, spend more time working on your business. The second thing is sell your business. And I don't mean, turning it over to a new owner. I mean, out there promoting it, actually talking about it, sell your business. If people don't hear you selling your business, they're not going to be able to sell it for you. But if you create a story that is compelling enough about your business, then you will be able to sell it. So always be selling your business, and then teach your story to your employees so they can sell your business. This is something that we go through the whole story making process during our workshops and help you write your story. So your business has a compelling story. And that's what you're selling. So the more time you can spend out in front of a group, whether it's a PTA group, a community group, community moms group, business workshops, business networking groups, anytime you can spend telling your story, you're selling your business, and that's what you have to get very comfortable with. The number 3 thing is just simply 2 words: get out. Get out of your building. Sometimes you just need to get out to observe what's going on. If you're spending all your time in your business, maybe you don't know how big pickleball is right now. If you're spending too much time in your business, maybe you don't know the need for more swim instruction. Maybe you don't know some of the things that are going on in the community. So you need to get out. And I'm not saying you have to be a political advocate or an activist or anything like that. I'm just saying you have to get out and observe. You have to know what's going on, see what's happening, what properties are for sale, who's moving out, who's closing their business, what business has a full parking lot every day, and how can we partner with them? But you don't know that if you spend all your time in your business. Number 4 is get comfortable being uncomfortable. You got to take some risks. You got to try some things. This is harder for some than others. For me, it was never a difficult thing. I like taking chances and putting myself, on the line to say, okay, I got to make this work, and making that commitment. But you have to first start out by being uncomfortable. You talk to the Michael Jordans of the world, LeBron James, all these great athletes. Learning starts at the edge of discomfort. That's when you really start learning, when you get uncomfortable with something, and then you can grow from there. I think you need to take some risks. I advocated for thinking things through, which is good. But there comes a point where you can overthink it. And there you just have to say, okay, I'm going to go for this one and we'll try it. Now you're observing it all along the way. So you're watching your risks. They are calculated risks. But if you take no risk, you have no real advantage. You can't get a leadership role without taking a risk. The first one that started preschool gymnastics for 2-year-olds, that was a risk. They're allocating time and resources and staff, and nobody knew that it was going to work. And now everybody knows it works. That's risk taking. So you have to take some risks, try some things, and look at some of the great visionary businesses out there that are just doing so well with, the Savannah Bananas and pickleball and, all the different things. There's so many sports that are happening. Perhaps you can create your own. That's number 4, is get comfortable being uncomfortable. Number 5 is grow yourself. How much time are you spending right now in growing yourself? What have you invested? What's your annual budget for improving yourself? When was the last time you went to a seminar, a workshop, a school class, a college class, took a course? When was the last time you did that just to improve a certain skill that you have? I'm going to advocate that you train yourself in business skills. So there's skills in finance, there's skills in knowledge you should have in real estate, insurance. There's all these things that you can learn that make you a better business person, but you have to invest in yourself. As simple as something like making a commitment to read a book or read 10 pages a day. And you think about, if you read 10 pages a day, you basically complete a book a month, and in a year you've read 12 books. So if you don't think those things are going to improve you, you're just not thinking it through. You have to get better. The other thing in improve yourself is 2 things. 1, find yourself a mentor. Nobody makes it alone. There's a great book, Never Fly Solo, but the idea is that you need help. You will do more to be accountable to a mentor than you will to be accountable to yourself. Think about it. If you have someone that you commit to, whether it's a partner, a spouse, an individual, a friend, or someone that you pay to be a mentor to you, your mentor doesn't need to be, or maybe shouldn't be, your best friend, because you don't want someone else to make excuses for you. You do that on your own. You need a mentor that is going to hold you accountable. You're going to make a commitment. Let's say we take on this reading and we're going to read 10 pages of a book, and 10 pages out of a book every day. And then I'm going to ask you, when we get together for coffee, I'm going to say, okay, what'd you read about? Tell me about what you just read. I'm going to hold you accountable for that. It's something that simple, but information is so available today, whether it's podcasts. I'm not a big television person. I don't watch programmed TV, but I do watch documentaries and I learn about other businesses and listen to podcasts. If it gets off on a tangent that I don't like, I turn it off. But I'm out there searching for new information. And more I learn about other businesses, the more I think, is there a way that I can apply that to my business? Anyway, I think you need to improve yourself. I believe that was number 5. Number 6, I'm going to go into, you need to create your own metrics. We go through a strategy system that says, okay, these are our objectives. We're going to set 4, 5, 6, 10 objectives. And then with each objective, there is in corporate world, they call them KPIs or key performance indicators, but it's nothing more than a way of keeping score of something and setting your goals so that they are measurable. And I don't know that goals need to be measurable, but they have to have measurable KPIs that attach to them. So if you say you want to grow your enrollment, if that's your goal and you leave it hanging there, it does nothing. But if you say the way you're going to measure that goal to increase our enrollment is we're going to contact 10 new people a week, and we want to get 5 responses a week and 2 new enrollments per week. They are measurable KPIs that we can keep score on. And at the end of the month, we can say, okay, we hit this one at 20%, this one at 2%, and this one we missed entirely. But then and if you weight your objectives and say, I've got these 3 objectives, this one, and if you weight them all based on 100%, let's say, and you say that this one is 40% of my goal is this objective, and then 20% is this, and 30% is this, and it adds up to 100%. Then you can say at the end of the month, you can look at it, it's very clear, and you can say, you know what, I'm 42% of the way there. You have a score. Think about going into any sport without a scoreboard. If you don't have a scoreboard, it's hard to play the game. It's hard to motivate yourself. It's hard to keep pushing yourself if you don't have a scoreboard. So by doing this and creating metrics, you're going to have a scoreboard and you're going to compete. You're going to compete with yourself. And if you do this as a team with your whole staff, it actually becomes fun. Growing the business is as fun and as competitive as any sport you've ever been in. And I've grown a bunch of different businesses. And whether you want to build it to keep, build it to give away, or build it to sell, you need to have this scoreboard so that you can follow through and see what you're doing. I think I'm up to number 7 now. Number 7 is learn to solve problems and actually look for problems. The great book that I refer to is Relentless Solution Focus. And in that book, they talk about taking problems head on. If you leave yourself in the problem-centric thinking where you're dwelling on a problem, that's not good. But if you recognize it, then within a minute, flip it over and say, okay, I'm going to the solution on here. What's one possible solution that I could have that might work? And if it doesn't, that's okay. You still have the same problem, but you're not dwelling on it. You're not making yourself miserable. You're trying to solve that problem. And then solving problems becomes a sport in itself. You will take pride in how quickly you can solve problems. And guess what? When you're solving problems, you're leading others to solve problems. And then instead of employees bringing problems to you, they're going to start bringing solutions that they use to solve a problem. And now you're just going to reward that problem. So time management is always a big issue. So one of the things that I suggest, level 4 time management takes through, all the things we've been through, and everybody's, been through the charts and the SWOT analysis and everything on how to evaluate your time. But I look at things real simple. You take everything that comes to you. The first thing you try to do is, if it's not important, eliminate it. So eliminate is something you do. If it's something that comes to you frequently, you want to automate it. I made the excuse for a long time, I'm not going to set up automatic bill paying. I'm going to write checks and pay all my bills. And you know what? I don't have that many bills, so it doesn't take me that long. Within 30 minutes, I can pay all my bills. So I never set up auto bill paying. And then someone convinced me that, you know what? It's still 30 minutes you're spending. And if you could do it in 5 minutes, how could you reinvest the 25 minutes that you save? So automation is the next thing. And I pay my bills on my phone normally while I'm sitting waiting to have my car serviced or waiting for a doctor's appointment or whatever. Automation is awesome. And I know you all use it for registration, you use it, but learn to automate. And even that strategy process, learn to automate that. There's ways of doing it. And pretty much in our day and time, there's an app for everything. So anyway, the next thing is delegate it. If you have someone in your organization that can do it almost as well, then delegate that. And then monitor it and help them to get better at it. Eventually, you will be delegating things to people that can actually do them better than you. That's where you want to get. As a business owner, you want to delegate to your employees that are better than you. As a sales manager, I learned real quickly, if I saw a great opportunity, a great prospect out there, I'd find my best salesmen and put them on that rather than me thinking, okay, here's the best one. This is going to have the greatest reward. I'm going to take this on myself. No, delegate that. The last one is one that not many people buy into, but I've learned that it works. And that's procrastinate. This is not the procrastinate putting something off that you hate to do. This is procrastinate on purpose, putting things off that aren't that important, and you just divert it to the top of the funnel again and see if it's going to work your way down. And certain things will work their way back to you, and then you'll have to concentrate on it or automate it, delegate it, any one of those things. But the first thing you can do, if it's not that important, procrastinate on purpose. Ziegler used to say the one drawer in his desk was, he called the fruit bin, and anything that he could procrastinate a little bit, he would put in that drawer. And the good thing about the fruit bin is the fruit either got ripe and it was really, and okay, let's tackle this. That's something I want, or it got rotten and you threw it away. His fruit bin was one drawer. So you take these things, you put them, and then occasionally you go through them and say, okay, this one I can throw. So you've just eliminated 10 things that you could have spent 10 minutes each on if you had done them, but you found out they weren't so important. So managing your time is a thing. We go into a very deep dive into how to manage your calendar. I'm not going to do that now, but if you don't have a consistent calendar, live by a calendar, live by a schedule, not a to-do list. It's a whole nother conversation, but I think it's something that you should and would do. Number 9 is innovate daily. Come up with a new way of doing something. Come up with a new idea. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It may be how you sign things in, how you unlock the door. Do you have the same order? When you come into your business, do you turn the lights on in the same order? Do you come in through the same door? Do you unlock things? Do you take the alarm off? Who makes the coffee? Any of those things, there can be innovation. How you lay out your gym or your workout area, if you're a fitness facility, how you greet customers, you can innovate a new way. You know, we answered the phone forever. Hello, this is Grand Slam. How may I help you? One of our employees, and we do a big birthday party business, and one of our employees started answering the phone. It's always a party at Grand Slam, and it took off, and people would tell me how much they like hearing that. You know, that became a new thing. And not everybody answers the phone that way. Some aren't as comfortable, but it's kind of cute and quirky and it's innovative. Try to innovate more. And then the last thing is always build your business to sell. And I say that whether you want to one day sell it for a profit and a big profit. So building your business means how you keep track of everything you're doing. And when you're putting things in buckets, whether you're putting money here or there, or you're allocating or doing your taxes, if you do it for the short-term gain, well, you know what, if I do this, I can take extra depreciation and I can reduce my taxes this year. Or you can spread it out and over 5 years show a consistency of growth where the profit has been increasing for 5 years. And if you can set that up and show that, then your business is worth more. The other reason that you want to build your business to sell is because you never know when you need a partner or you want a partner. Let's say the business is going really well and you want to open a second location, or you want to franchise, or you want to expand your building, or you want to buy the building that you're currently renting and you need a partner. You have to be able to sell your business. And at that time, all your metrics matter. Your story matters, your content matters, but your metrics also matter. And you need to grow that. These are the 10 things that we go over in our workshop. But real quickly, work on your business, not in your business. Always be selling your business, you and your staff. Get out of your business, get out in the community, get out in the world, get comfortable being uncomfortable, grow yourself, commit to personal growth, create your own metrics, have a way of keeping score, seek out problems, look for problems, and then be a master at problem solving. Understand your time management and live by a calendar, not a to-do list. Innovate daily, always be innovating, always come up with something new, and then build your business to sell. And the more you build your business to sell, the less you're going to want to sell it. So So this is fun. This is what we do in a workshop. I hope you got something out of this, and join me next week. We have a new guest coming on next week, and it's going to be an exciting episode of Paradigm Playbook. Thank you. Make it a great day.
Thanks for tuning in to Paradigm Playbook. Explore more at paradigmplaybook.com. Want to be a playmaker? Contact stephenjcook.com. Share this episode to spread the word about sports industry opportunities. See you next week.